I knew I believed in God. I just wasn't resonating with what was being told to me, and anytime I was asking questions, I wasn't feeling as though I was having it explained to me in a way that made sense to me. So I was kind of doing like a Bible study once a week and then a Quran study once a week, which was a really cool experience. But like I said, every time I went to this new Muslim class, like things were just making so much sense, and it was getting really hard to ignore. So wrong to assume a woman can't make a decision for a sake other than a man, but it is so clearly misogynistic. So let's just think, let's use our brains. So I'm gonna do a little video about my journey to Islam. Okay, little background about me. I did not grow up religious. My dad's side of the family's Catholic, but I wasn't raised religious. I didn't really go to church unless I was sometimes going with my grandparents, but it was not a prevalent theme in my childhood, not really something I talked about with my parents, and it just wasn't really taught to me as a kid, so yeah, I wasn't religious growing up. It wasn't until my first year of university that I kind of started thinking about religion, and that was due to the fact that I lost my dad that year. And when he was sick, we had quite a few conversations about God and about religion, and I got to watch him really rely on his faith in a time of need, and it kind of just got me thinking about religion. So probably like 6 to 8 months after my dad passed away, I started going to a Bible study with a friend from home, and I had such a good experience at this Bible study. The people were amazing. The church was like super welcoming and kind to me, and I felt like I learned a lot. However, I just didn't feel like anything was really clicking with me, and this kind of led to a little bit of a crisis of faith, I guess. Like, I knew I believed in God. I just wasn't resonating with what was being told to me, and anytime I was asking questions, I wasn't feeling as though I was having it explained to me in a way that made sense to me. And during this time, I actually did get close to someone who was Muslim, but we didn't have like any conversations about faith or the religion. So I knew someone was Muslim, but I wasn't really familiar with Islamic theology at all, or like the foundations of Islam, or pretty much anything about it. So Islam still wasn't really an option for me. It was during this time, while I was still going to Bible study, that I started really getting frustrated with the fact that I knew I believed in God, but I was not connecting through Christianity, and that honestly, like, it was really frustrating for me. So I ended up confiding in a coworker who was just like an older lady I worked with, and I assumed she was Christian because she told me she was religious, and like I said, I barely knew any Muslims, and she explained her concept of God to me, and subhanAllah, you guys, like, it completely fit what I thought about God inside, but like in words. And then I found out she was a Muslim revert. I ended up exchanging numbers with this coworker, and she offered to bring me to the masjid to like a revert class or like a non-Muslim class, but I honestly wasn't sure if I was going to take her up on it because I was terrified to go to the mosque. Like, I had never set foot in a masjid before, had no idea what to expect. It was like really, really foreign to me, so I was really nervous. However, I ended up going, Alhamdulillah, and I remember going to this new Muslim class and asking questions for probably like half an hour, and every single time I asked a question, the answer resonated with me and it made sense. It was backed up by Quran, by Sunnah. It was honestly like a surreal experience. Like, every single question I had was answered during that first class, and I left feeling terrified because I thought I was gonna go there and kind of just rule Islam out as an option, but instead I left and all it was doing was making me think, oh my god, like, that made so much sense. It was probably like a full month before I went back to the mosque because I was honestly terrified because it made so much sense to me, and I was still going to Bible study at the time. So I ended up going back to the masjid to this class and attending more regularly. So I was kind of doing like a Bible study once a week and then a Quran study once a week, which was a really cool experience. But like I said, every time I went to this new Muslim class, like, things were just making so much sense, and it was getting really hard to ignore. Eventually, I started having like thoughts like, oh my god, I can't die before I'm Muslim. Like, I'd be driving on the highway and I would literally think like, I cannot get in a car crash because I'm not Muslim. But then at the same time, I was still like, no, I could never convert to Islam. Like, that'd be so difficult. Like, what would people think? I was having all these doubts. So I still wasn't there yet. Okay, this is something that still sticks with me. I've been Muslim for 1.5 years now, but during this time, I ended up having this dream where I was in this like burning house. My house was on fire, and I ran up the stairs, and I was trying to get out of the door. I was tugging on the door, and I could not get out the door. And I knew the only way to get out of the door was to do my shahada. And I remember waking up, and I was terrified. Like, this dream was terrifying, and I thought about it daily. Now, because I was going to this new Muslim class, like, I had learned what the Shahada was, and I knew that that was what you took to become a Muslim. So this really stuck with me, and Ramadan was approaching. I was learning a little bit about why Muslims fast, and I decided that I wanted to try fasting. Right before Ramadan, I ended up meeting some Muslim sisters. These were kind of like the first girls that I met that were Muslim, and they really showed me the ropes, like helped me out during Ramadan, Alhamdulillah. And I fasted the entire month of Ramadan as a non-Muslim, and when I tell you, this was the most life-changing experience I think I've ever had. It was insane. I was so anxious going into it. Like, I kind of at this point knew Islam was the truth, but I didn't really know if I could become Muslim or if I could fast or if I could complete all the obligations. Like, I was really anxious, and as soon as Ramadan hit, subhanAllah, like, all my anxiety regarding this stuff just disappeared, and all that was left was like this notion that I knew I needed to become Muslim. I just needed to take those steps. So on the last day of that Ramadan, I ended up accepting Islam and taking my Shahada. So right before Eid, and Alhamdulillah, it's been the best decision I've ever made. I wouldn't change anything for the world, and I look back at all the signs that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent me during that time, and when I was trying to get close to God, and when I was looking into Islam, and it just makes me feel so grateful, and I'm so grateful to the people I met during that time that helped me out. But yeah, that's kind of how I came to Islam in the little condensed short version. Okay, I normally don't address stuff like this, but I'm gonna address this for a second. Not only is it like so wrong to assume a woman can't make a decision for a sake other than a man, but it is so clearly misogynistic. So let's everybody think before we comment. Let's do some reflection and just think, maybe, just maybe, a woman can make a decision about her personal life for a sake other than a man. Crazy concept to some people, but I felt like a little service announcement for everyone. So let's just think. Let's use our brains.